Backpacks, check. Booster shots, check. Teeth cleaning, just like you guys are, I'm going through my kids back to school and just making sure that my kids are ready for back to school like everybody else this time of year. So welcome to a Q&A with Dr. Jay, and this time we're going to be focusing on back to school and what we need to do to keep our kids oral health in tip-top shape so that all the forms, everything else is ready for them to have a successful school year ahead. So that's what we're going to be discussing today. All right. So regular dental school visits are important. We all know that. But did you know that children miss almost 51 million hours of school every year because of missed dental visits and because of the problems that are caused by, the dental issues that come up because things were not kind of caught in time. Things that could have been simply avoided by having that back to school dental checkup and, setting them up for success so that they're not worried about what's hurting them here, but focusing on getting their education and fun and learning in the classrooms. So between the summer fun, the cookouts, the camping, and all the beach fun that everybody's always looking to do, or the lake trips that you're focused on, the back to school time usually creeps up on us, right? We're, it's least expecting it. We're not thinking about that. It's happened to me. And then before you know it, it's that time of the year again, your kids getting ready. So the first important thing that you're going to want to focus on is planning ahead. Make sure that you've given yourself enough time, schedule that appointment, because what happens is as soon as the back to school time turns around, we are getting inundated with phone calls. I mean, we barely have time to accommodate all the children that want to be seen. Of course, coming out of these 2 years of, the COVID pandemic, times are very limited. We're running a very structured program, and we're seeing by the appointment. So getting in can be difficult, as I'm sure you already know, with the hair and the nail and all of the other appointments that we have to make now. Stuff that you could just walk in and get done is becoming more and more less frequent. Appointments have to be made. So plan ahead, give yourself enough time. So getting ready for back to school, we want to encourage you to adopt age-appropriate habits at home. So for children that are age 6 and under, they may want to brush their teeth, but they really don't have the capability or the fine motor skills that are required, necessary for them to be able to do an acceptable job or a decent enough job. So we recommend that the parents, mom or dad, or whoever is taking care of the kids, make an effort to kind of just going in after the kid is done brushing, so the child kind of feels more empowered that they're allowed to do the brushing on their own, but also you going back in and just making sure that, yes, in fact, they have managed to take care of what they need to take care of with their brushing habit. Also, during that under 6 time, their mouth is changing a lot. There's a lot of new teeth that are coming in. Some of the kids have room for them, some of them don't. So you might see new teeth buds coming in. Some teeth may have more teething problems than others, some teeth less, some kids less. So it's important to kind of for you to go in and check and see, hey, are the teeth coming out on schedule? Are they having difficulty? So on and so forth. So it's always a good idea that under the 6-year-old, for the 6-year-old demographic, your children that are under 6, you want to go in and just keep an eye on their development, on their on the schedule of their teeth that are coming out in their mouth. So between the ages of 7 and 12, that's the next age group that we want to focus on. By that time, the kids kind of start to learn. They start to understand. They know what they're accountable for. They have the fine motor skills necessary in order to be able to brush their teeth well on their own. So knowing that, it's still a good idea to kind of communicate with them, set the expectations, how much they need to take care of them. But also, they are becoming more independent, so it's okay for them to be able to, be responsible for their oral health. But still, the appointment with the dentist is still important, because you're going to want somebody, a healthcare provider, to be able to go in and check up on making sure that they are doing a good job and catching things before they become difficult, painful, urgent, right? So again, in the 7 to 12 age range, kids are becoming more independent, but you still need a set of professional eyes on how they're maintaining their oral health. For the next age group, which is 12 to 18-year-olds, now they're becoming really independent. They've gone they may have gone a good long time without, having had a dental appointment, or they may be having regular dental checkups. Regardless, whether they've been on a regular preventative maintenance schedule or they have not, a lot of the issues or the problems that occur between these age groups occur in this age group because now their diet is changing. They're taking on more of an adult diet. Um, their teeth have not been in their mouths for a long time, because they're still young. So sometimes these kids have gone for a long time without having had a cavity, without having anything dental related that they've had to get interventional care for from a dentist. So they may not realize the consequences of their actions because they may feel like, hey, I've gone so long without getting a cavity, or I've gone so long without seeing a dentist, nothing really happens to me, I've got perfect teeth. But as we know, as the body is getting older, wear and tear creeps in, dietary habits change, people are drinking more soda, more refined processed foods, cheeses, sugars, and then all of the damage from all of this diet changes, lifestyle changes are cumulative. So a kid at 10 to 12-year-old age may not have had a lot of dental needs, but by the time that child turns 14, 16, 18-year-old, that cumulative wear and tear and the damage is kind of building up and leading to more dental issues. And of course, if the mindset has been while they were growing up that, hey, I don't really see the reason to see a dentist. Nothing really is wrong with my teeth. I could probably go a few years without seeing a dentist. Well, that mindset does not correlate with what's going on in their oral health. Because as they get older, as we all get older, we need more upkeep of our bodies, our mouth, our all the organs in the body, the eyes, the ears, whatnot. You know what I'm talking about. So having a child develop that habit right from the start, where you kind of setting up a routine where they're coming in regularly, getting their exams, their cleanings, their x-rays, kind of builds that mindset, because that 5, 7, 10-year-old eventually turns into the 20-year-old or the 30-year-old, and those habits that were cultivated at a young age kind of helps make the person that they're going to become. So if they're developing the right habits at the right time, they're going to have a much better experience with their oral care when they come into the dental office, and they're going to have less work that they're going to need. They're going to have fewer expenses associated with dentistry because after all, they've been taking care of it at home. Versus somebody who's not been interested in developing the right habits, and then eventually when they turn into adults and they kind of are living on their own, and then they realize, hey, I've got a lot of dental problems, I don't know what to do, this has never happened to me before, and they're kind of blindsided by all this. So developing the right habit at the right time and the right mindset that, hey, this is something that's important for the child, is super important as these children are developing into young adults and adults, becoming independent adults on their own. So those are the things that are super important that I would have urge you to take focus on and cultivate those habits in your children. Timing is very important when you're making a child's appointment, right? If your child is going back to school and they're usually used to napping in the middle of the day, and if we're taking that nap time to bring them into the dental office and they haven't gotten their nap, then they become cranky. Now, if they're already cranky and we're putting them in a chair expecting to do any kind of cleaning or other dental work on them, that appointment's really not going to go very well, is it? By the same token, if some parents feel like, hey, I'm going to come in after work, sometimes they want to bring the child in after school, and that's the only time they can come in. But if the child is tired at that time of the day, then they're not going to be very cooperative in the chair. So you have to consider the dynamics of how that works. At what time is your child more likely to be amenable to sit in the chair, be more cooperative, what works for them, so that this experience for the child has to be a very positive experience in order for them to develop a familiarity, develop a sense of comfort in the dental chair, so that they are able to become great patients when you're no longer having to bring them in. So again, timing is everything when you're making that appointment, so always keep that in mind. Next thing I want to focus on is making one child a model. So if you have multiple kids and they all have back-to-back dental visits, I would rather that you make the first child the one who is the most cooperative and the most happiest to be there, because remember, all the kids are going to watch that child and they're going to observe how that child behaves in the office with the dental team that's taking care of that child, how that child behaves in the chair. And that child is is basically becoming the model for the other kids in your family. Because if that child has a very positive outlook, they're going to be happy, they're going to be excited, they're going to be happy to talk to the providers, and they're generally going to have a very good positive visit. And the other kids in your family are going to watch that. They're going to learn from them, because as you know, kids are always watching and they're always mimicking, they're always absorbing what's going on in the family and how everybody's behaving, and they kind of become mirrors for you. They start to kind of reflect the behavior that they're watching from everybody else. So very important to make that one child a model who has the most positive experience, so that all your other children can mimic that behavior and that mindset, so that they become great patients on their own. Another thing that I want to focus on is hungry kids. If your child is hungry, make sure they have a light meal before they come in, because remember, a hungry child is not a happy child. You don't want a hangry kid in the appointment that is just not going to cooperate, because they're just more focused on, hey, I'm hungry, I want to eat something. Again, do not feed them while they're waiting in the guest lounge, because if you feed them right before the dental appointment, bring them right in, then they have all that food in the mouth, and just makes the job of the healthcare provider a little bit more difficult. So let's not do that. Try and feed them a light meal before the appointment. And of course, bonus points for being awesome parents is after they've had the meal before the dental appointment, brush, just so that the basic food and all the plaque that they've accumulated right at the time of having the meal is cleaned out. And plus, it's just polite, just brush before your dental visit. Of course, as being healthcare providers, we've seen it all, but it always helps when the patient is engaged in terms of having taken a little bit of care for their oral health. More care, the better it is. As parents, I would also have a very strong recommendation of leaving your anxiety at the door. Again, the kids not just observe the way you're saying things or the way you're behaving, but they really pick up on nonverbal clues very, very closely, right? So if you're anxious, if you're worried about your dental appointments, and when you're coming to the dentist, that obviously is starting to show up on your face or your body language, please be careful that if your child sees that, kids as young as 4, 5, and 6 can easily pick up on that. So if they see that, then they kind of start mimicking that behavior. If you're communicating with the kids and you're anxious about dentistry and the discomfort, and the child's asking you, hey, how's that appointment going to be, I would encourage you to have that conversation. Encourage you to tell the child, hey, have that conversation with the dentist. Ask the dentist how it's going to be. Don't just say, hey, it's only going to hurt for a little bit, because having that preconceived notion is going to be painful may not be the right way to go. In fact, if the child becomes more communicative and learns how to, hey, ask the dentist, how is this going to be? Is this going to hurt? It is going to help them become more communicative, become more confident in having that communication and being able to manage their oral health care on their own. Plus, it's just a good habit for them to be interacting, because after all, it's their own health that they're learning to take control of, and the earlier they start, the better it is for them. Now, let's say the visit is going great. Everything is hunky-dory. Your child is having a good dental visit. But what happens if it's not? What if the child is getting really cranky, uncooperative, is not having a good dental visit? The worst thing for you to do would be to swoop in, stop that appointment, and leave with the child, because now that mindset has been created that, hey, if I get non-cooperative, cranky, if I'm not, being a good patient here, then this experience can stop and I get to leave, because that's what they're looking for. The main reason why the child is uncooperative is because they're in an unfamiliar environment. This is not something that they've ever been in before, or they've been in very infrequently. Maybe they haven't observed any positive behaviors from other children that they know of in this environment, and that leads them to feel very much out of control. When the child feels like the child has no control, then they get upset and then they start crying. At that point, as parents, I would encourage you, let the child and the dentist develop their relationship. Let them communicate, let them talk to each other, and develop that communication standard whereby, the child can ask questions, the dentist can explain as best they can, and build a stronger relationship as time goes on. That is super important. Let the dentist and the dentist team work with the child and develop the relationship. Jump in only if you feel like you need to. Otherwise, give the dentist every opportunity to turn the visit around by communicating with the child and building that relationship for for better long-term care for the child. All right, so you've had your dental visit. Everything went really well. Your child was a great patient. Good news, they joined the No Cavity Club. Everything is perfect. You got the school form signed. Now you're on your way out, right? Now it's time to pick up a card from the for that dental office, for if you're coming here for our dental office. In fact, I would say pick up 2 or 3. Keep them in the backpack. Keep them in areas where you can easily get to the card. Because remember, whether it's at a sporting event, at the beach, walking down the street, just having fun during the summer, any season of the year, accidents can happen. And it's always better to have a card and the phone number handy so that you can give us a call so that we can take care of you, answer your questions if there is an emergency. Or your friends and family, they may need the card because they have kids, they may have kids, and those children may have an emergency that they need to answer for. So that was our back to school Q&A. If you have any questions, we would love to hear from you. Please like and share and put your comments in the section down below. And if you're looking to bring your child in, make an appointment as soon as possible because the appointments are filling up really fast. We are running some specials for the back to school. I know we have an Invisalign special for those children that have been looking to get Invisalign, get the teeth straight without wires, without brackets and braces, which is a really convenient way of doing that. And another promo that we are running is until the end of September, we are giving away free fluoride as part of your back to school dental visit. So give us a call at Media Dental Associates, Bootway Dental, or Conshohocken Dental Arts, or you can visit us on the web at media.dental, bootway.dental, or conshohocken.dental. Give us a call. Our number here is 610-565-0525. That's 610-565-0525. We look forward to hearing from you and taking care of your friends and family for a long time. So until the next Q&A, this is Dr. Jay signing off. Thanks for watching, everybody.